Clic on Air, a life experience through culture and languages.
Listen to us every Wednesday through www.radioamigainternational.com.
Radio Amiga, musical culture, 11 years on air.
Hello, Clic on listeners. Welcome back. Today is Wednesday again. Here we are again, Clic on Air, to have an excellent time with you, good conversation. This nice radio show. This is going to be a great show again. A nice Wednesday. Today is sunny here in Bogota, and I'm happy because finally the sun's out. And as always, we have a very nice guest with whom we're going to be speaking about a very interesting topic about his experiences and everything. And you will have a really, really nice time. But I want to say hello to Teacher Nicholas because that's my obligation. Hey, man, how are you?
I'm good, Luis. Thanks for saying hello. I was waiting for my part here on the show. Hello, Clic on listeners, Clic on viewers. Welcome to Clic on Air. Like every Wednesday, we are here from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. to, well, like Teacher Luis said, to talk about different topics. I was saying like Spanish, diferentes topics. And well, today is not deception. Of course, we have an excellent guest, a really nice person. I have to say that. I only met him once, but yeah, a very nice person with a lot of energy. And he's going to talk about his life here in Colombia because he's not from Colombia. Also his career, his professional career, his life in that field. And well, different topics because the guest today has different things to talk about. So welcome, Clic on viewers. And yeah, here we are. Luis, thanks for saying hello.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome back. And without further introduction, I just want to say hello to our nice guest, Patrick Coedler. Am I pronouncing that well? I don't think so, right?
No.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Yeah, hello, good afternoon. And this just like, thanks first of all for having me. And this was like nice Bogota summer afternoon. And well, the right pronunciation would be Knödler, which is probably kind of the most difficult to say. Knödler.
Knödler. Oh my goodness.
Even my partner can't say it right after kind of 6 years here in Colombia. So basically kind of you don't need to really worry to not having this right at first time.
Okay, to me, you're just Patrick Knödler.
Yeah.
Imagine that's complicated because when I think about English, it's like, no, I mean, it's because when you are like spend a lot of time speaking in English as we do, it's like that K isn't really K, and it's like it doesn't sound. For example,
no, in English,
or knowledge.
In English-speaking countries, normally this translates to noddler. So basically, kind of just like in all English-speaking countries, I run like nodder, but since it's a German name. And we pronounce the K, which is a Knödler. Well, kind of in very few countries, basically, kind of it runs with a K, so the nodler is fine enough.
Patrick, and your last name.
It's a very
Does it have a meaning?
Yes,
for example,
continue.
It actually has a meaning. If you go back, kind of first of all, the Knödel, nodler is basically a German dish. It's basically kind of done out of kind of breadcrumbs and something like that. So it's basically kind of like put together kind of from breadcrumbs and other things. But this actually has a history behind that. So it's basically kind of like, it means it's like in old German, recycler. So basically we recycled everything and put it together to a new dish or kind of to create something new. So, well, yeah, whatever.
Interesting. You see, it's like, that's I mean, because in the German language the K is like a really strong sound, right? Strong letter.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And taking that into account, would you just realize and you just heard Clic on listener that our guest today is from, right? right, Patrick? You're from Germany. Exactly. What part of Germany are you exactly from?
Yes, I'm basically, but kind of, I haven't, kind of lived in Germany for a long time. It's basically, I still usually in normal years when we don't have Corona, I'm basically still half of a year, usually in summer in Europe. But basically, I left Germany with my residence, just like to live 5 years in Zurich, kind of like 10 years ago. And then I was 5 years in Spain. And before that, basically, since I was 25, basically, usually I always was in summer in Europe and then in winter in other parts of the world. I lived in Australia, in New Zealand, in Panama, in Brazil, in Argentina.
That's a pretty nice life. That's a pretty nice life. But where are you from in Germany? Like, what city in Germany are you from?
I'm born in Cologne.
Cologne. Oh.
And Patrick, so how long did you live in Germany? So I don't know, in your life, like 20, 22 years, something like that?
Well, yes, my first 23 years as well, I was traveling a lot because my family was always traveling a lot. But basically, of course, I went to school in Germany. I did do my first parts of university in Germany. And I kind of finished also kind of my studies in Germany, and also worked 1 year after my my graduate degree in Germany in a Max Planck Institute of immunobiology. But then basically I started kind of traveling more and leaving, Germany for usually half of a year of the year. So 25 years basically.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So as you can hear, this is a very nice story, like a lot of experiences that Patrick has had so far, because it's going to have a lot more. But as we are here now, right now, and our Patrick has already told us a little bit about himself, but we're going to make to stop for a minute and click on music for the first time. We're going to listen to the first song of the day. But sorry, before we need to say hello to Clic on listeners and introduce the topic for the day, Nicolas. If it's not too much trouble.
I was forgetting. That's my part of the show. Don't forget it, please. Clic on listeners, please participate with the hashtag for today, which is Clic on Technology. Participate answering this question, please. What do you think about technological advances? Wow, that's a very nice question, Luis. What is the most surprising technological advances for you and why? And that's it, yeah. And please participate with the hashtag Clic on Technology, answering those questions. Clic on listeners.
Okay, now we're going to click on music for the first time, and we're going to listen to, what is it, Nicolas?
Yeah, I think I don't think Patrick selected this song probably, but I don't know. Let's listen to this band. I don't know, Patrick, if you like. Let's click on music. Rammstein. Let's click.
Rammstein.
My mistake. Rammstein. Du hast. Let's click on music.
Welcome back, Clic on listeners. Back online, and that was Du hast by Rammstein. See, I'm trying to do that pronunciation in German. Well, I don't think so, but I try. And that's the idea when you want to learn the new language, Clic on listeners. You just have to try it and keep on doing. It's difficult, but I tried. And that was
remember, if Teacher Luis can do it, everyone can do it. Okay?
Yes, we can. And remember to participate on Clic on listeners using the hashtag Clic on Technology and answer this question. See, what do you think about the technological advances? And for you, what is the most surprising technological advance? And tell us why. Remember, you can participate on Facebook Live or YouTube, or you can listen you can listen to us on www.radioamigainternational.com. So don't miss this opportunity, and please chat with us and ask Patrick your questions. So as we were starting like at the beginning, Patrick was telling us a little bit about himself and his life, first in Germany and then all around the world, because he's a world citizen. That is the very definition of a world citizen. Not like Nicolas, that he only travels around Bogota and he believes that kids in the world, but
around my neighborhood.
that's not the real thing. Yeah, it's but Nicola takes advantage of the internet a lot. So he traveled a lot on Google Earth. It's a nice app, but it's not the same. I'm pretty sure it's not the same. So I just want to start by asking Patrick, you see, like if you can tell us a little bit about your professional and academic background right now.
Well, as I said, I'm a biologist, and I was after I finished my graduation on my first year as a doctorate, I was working together, as actually kind of very fascinating, together with in the Max Planck Institute, together with Georges Köhler, who did win a Nobel Prize. So we had a very interesting kind of like topic there, kind of basically kind of everything was in relation of genetics and doing transgenic mice to basically research things like that. But to be honest, I never liked that too much, because it was to spend your life 24/7 in a laboratory and to explain your friends you're basically killing mice. It was not like, you know, kind of the things that you wanted to do the rest of your life, because basically you're working on such a small detail of things that you can't even tell the closest of your friends what you're basically doing. So in this time I had the possibility to get in touch with video rentals. In this time, video rentals and licensing was the new technology to come out, and we basically kind of did create a company like Blockbuster in the United States and Germany, where we did do video rentals and DVD rentals later on. And then did grow a really big company with up to nearly 1,000 stores in Germany. And then we basically kind of did a lot of things in relation of investments and tech-related companies. So this is just like what I'm basically now. I'm basically kind of working apart from some things that we do here in Bogota, like opening restaurants with really kind of interesting new concepts. We basically are bringing new technology, wireless technology for the Internet of Things, and commercial things here to Colombia and to Latin America. This is basically where we work right now.
Happened with video stores. No? I remember when I was younger, I went to a video store.
Like Blockbuster and stuff.
Yeah, but here we have Betatonia, something similar to Blockbuster. No? But yeah, that was, now it's, it's out of date, no? It's obsolete now. It's like, that
was the point, you know, kind of like working in an industry like that. It was basically kind of clear with the internet that everything in relation of video rental will be kind of, as you say, obsolete really fast. And so we had one partner just like doing something like Netflix as well. But the problem of the industry is basically is the kind of robbings, you know, kind of pirates that basically kind of rob your licensing. And the second thing is just like large scale cable companies like here Claro, like they basically all used our main product to sell their fiber optics. So basically everybody around you was basically kind of discounting your prime product. So you didn't, you know, kind of, you basically really fast lost the possibility to really kind of gain some money with your main product. So this is, we forget basically in the 90s or in the 80s, basically video rental was basically refinancing 70 to 75% of all the movies. So big screen always was just like 20% or something, you know, and now it's just like, you know, direct and all that. But basically kind of, it was a huge business in this time. And basically kind of after that, you know, kind of a lot of kind of studios did have problems and all that because of the two things of just like, you know, internet running out and cable companies just like selling our product, and of course piracy all over the world.
Oh, well, that's really nice, no? So you at the beginning you were studying like biologists and you were doing like research and killing mice, like you said before, doing something like that, and then you became like a business person, no? And in the business place doing or checking technology in this case, no? So that's so like a switch, really.
And Patrick,
No, it actually not is not a switch. It's like, you know, it's basically kind of what, especially kind of studying kind of a traditional biologist, what do? You do the analytics of very complex biological systems. So basically, just like this is exactly what you do. You're looking at a system that doesn't have just like 1, 2, 3, 4 variables. It has just like, you know, basically impossible kind of just like 10, 20, 100 different kind of like things that could possibly change. And so if you're looking at business environments, basically the consulting approach is always you're looking at as many possible things that could influence your business. So this is basically kind of like when you coming with a new technology, you always have to look at kind of what is the possible output, what is the possible influence, what is, and all that. So basically you learn to kind of just like think very complex and try to do the analytics to break that down to your business model or to what you can possibly do with that. So it always helps me.
So yes. Maybe, basically what you're doing, not basically, but like what you're doing is like take your knowledge and you're applying it to this new business to maybe expand it. And Patrick said something very interesting, that when we lived in that era of I don't know, rental video, like a Blockbuster, when you went to the local rental video and you take a video to like VHS and you take it to your house, like in the VCR, and you reproduce it. And that was like really good because you got the movie in your house. But now it's then with the piracy and that like the copyright and stuff, that was really difficult and still is difficult. Now you have this movie platform, like TV platform, like Netflix or and everything, but still piracy is a very complicated business, especially in this country. And I want to say, like, when did you decide, Patrick, like to come to this particular country and why?
Well, let me answer kind of one of the things that, because it's another very interesting statistics. Not just like Colombia. Well, of course, it's not one of the best countries for license well, whatever. But fine, kind of worldwide, you can get just like ripped large screen productions. 95% of all, or 98% of all the large screen productions, you can download an internet before they actually kind of start on the big screen. So, and this is just like why the business is so difficult. But basically, the answer to your question is, yeah, well, I met the love of my life on a vacation to Mexico. And then basically kind of we first kind of lived here a little bit and there a little bit, but finally, because I'm a lot more flexible, he worked this time at a professor at the university, and we decided to touch base here a little bit in Colombia. And this was basically kind of 6 years ago. And since I was at that time, you know, kind of starting to focus on one of the tech companies I'm involved with, IP500. And I said, well, you know, kind of with me living here in Colombia, I make myself responsible for the market entry here in Colombia and Latin America. So this is basically, but the reason was a poor love affair. So
that's a strong reason. That's the most important reason.
Most important reason, of course.
It's a very important, it's very important.
The place is everywhere, you know, but the person, it's unique, no? It's the only one.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, and this is like, because I mean, for some people, this like when you leave but in Patrick's case, because as we were saying, like he's like a world citizen, because it's sometimes difficult, and some people would think it's not like a really nice decision to change Germany for Colombia, you know, like it's like, okay, you live in Germany, and probably that's the, I don't know, the concept that we have, like if you live in Germany, you got everything, like it's a developed country, you got like good health, good education, and then you come to Colombia and you got all these problems that we face all the time. But probably we got some
problems. What problems are you talking about?
We're nice, but we have some good things that we don't accept. Like And I want to ask you that, like, what have been like the best part and the most difficult aspect of living in this country?
Well, the best part
Besides people like Nicolas, I know that's difficult.
No, the best part, the best part is first of all the Colombians, to be honest. And actually, it was like, as I said, like having had the possibility to make many experience in traveling. It was actually kind of really nice coming to Colombia because before I met my partner, I never have been in Colombia, and it was actually kind of nice to come to a country where you still had a lot of values that existed 20 or 25 years ago in many parts of the world, but we lost a lot of that due to commercializing of many things. So kind of basically kind of due to many facts, Colombia was a little kind of isolated because of the political and kind of economic situation of the narco traffic and all this. But this had also kind of a really kind of positive effect. So here you still see kind of values like real kind of real social value, that basically your neighbor is important, that people really do care. And you really, one of the most difficult things basically was to realize that people are just friendly. They're not friendly because they expect that you pay something for that, or they're friendly because you get something in return. No, they're friendly because they're friendly. So, and I think, one of the nicest experience here, part of just like being, having the possibility integrating the Colombian society is basically this open, warm feeling that basically most of the Colombians are able to give to even a stranger, so everybody's family kind of in a moment. And this is missing in a lot of parts of especially kind of these developed countries. They are developed, but basically kind of we look, all the government is responsible for everything, but it doesn't work either. So basically kind of maybe we have a little better kind of system in Europe or United States, social security, and a little bit more like secure health system and security. But bottom line, people are in average really sad and lonely. Here, basically, nobody's sad and lonely. And as you said, just like earlier, but what is the most important goal in life? To not be sad and lonely. And I think, kind of like, there is just like we have other values, like just like money and money and just like work and all that. But we have to relearn as a society, especially kind of nowadays, I think we have relearned that in the last year. It's not everything about money. It's not everything about like working all the time. It's also about just like enjoying that time that I have on this planet, and finally to be happy and to be kind of to not feel lonely. Kind of when I read about things that some of the kind of developed country now looking into programs, what can I do to get people out of their loneliness at home? It's like, for me, it's like, what? This wouldn't happen here in Colombia.
And actually, it's like actually something that everybody, like most people, have like in their like these I don't know how can you say that, like this wanderlust sensation, like you want to go out, like you want to leave your country, you want to know other countries, because that's the only way you can like experience other culture, experience life instead. Like maybe you can have everything you want to have in your country, but the world is out there. It's like you really feel that like sensation that you want to go out and experience everything, even if you hear something that is not like good, like that country is not the best country in the world, but you want to experience it because it's like something new, right?
You have to go out and if you don't kind of see other things, you won't believe it for yourself, because it's like the especially from looking for Colombian point of view, the American dream. If you haven't been there, you don't realize that it's basically kind of, well, not worth living. Let's put it like that. Because you have to work 3 jobs to basically just get your income, just like to basically live. Of course you have kind of some fantasies that especially the big movie screen just like always kind of projects, but this is not kind of the average American life. It's very difficult, and I would say kind of, but most people have to make the same experience. It's nicer as a kind of medium educated person to live here in Colombia, because it's nicer than there. Maybe kind of some things don't work, but bottom line, most people are happier here, honestly.
Okay.
Well, and I was going to ask Patrick, well, what is something from there?
Well, of course, some things, let's put it like that. Some parts that you, for example, in Europe, you drive for 20 kilometers and have a 1,000-year-old village, and then you drive another 15 kilometers, you have another 1,000-year-old village. So it's a little more kind of like developed culture, countryside. So this is just like something, and this is missing a little bit. And of course, kind of the cities are a little kind of more beautiful in respect of having more nicer buildings and things like that. But if you kind of once more go, for example, the restaurant scene or kind of things like that, you find exactly the same here in Bogota that you find in New York or you find in Madrid. It's not like something you wouldn't find here. It's like different. And of course, another thing you won't find there, it's nice here. You have this like beautiful countrysides, because they're really kind of unspoiled. And well, this comes also kind of with, kind of just like maybe a kind of infrastructure, which is not as well as there. But do you really need a freeway to drive 250 kilometers like every time to go from A to B? It's the same thing, kind of, it's if you focus on having things faster and less problematic, might be better, but it's also a different value. It's like it's a little point. But one thing that definitely has to change, so like I don't want really get into politics here, but one thing that really has to change, and one thing I miss, it's sometimes that politics is that country is really run badly. Let's put it like that. So kind of Colombia and many other kind of South American countries need a change, because this is something we, especially as Europeans or Germans, cannot expect that kind of accept that basically a very small class, really runs like in the times of the kings and raise a country without, kind of really looking to what the people need. So this is something that really has to change.
Yeah, maybe in the future, when they speak about the products to be exported. So sorry, Colombia could export some of its corruption. That would be nice to see how other countries face that demon that is corruption. Well,
yes, but let me say there, kind of this is the negative part of it. Basically, I think we are just like doing something exactly just like the positive part of it right now. Just showing the world how bad the situation is, and the people still kind of keep on demonstrating peacefully is exactly kind of showing the world that basically we need a new start. And this is just like something, we don't need this new start only here in Colombia. We need to start all over the world. I see it a little bit like, kind of the 1968 spring European kind of things coming, kind of everything that's, in relation of the hippie movement. We see exactly something like that, what happened in the 68 right here in Colombia or in Latin America, right? Because people, the students and the young people just like tell the politicians and the establishment that like this, we cannot continue. And I think that's a really important message. And I think we can export exactly that to the rest of the world, because here we are not just like need this change here, we need it worldwide, because basically the system we are copying here from others is the same thing.
And that is something that is true, Patrick, that is not only here in Colombia, but it's everywhere. But I mean, the needs are different. For example, in Europe, the needs are like other, no? Like you say before, people feel alone. The suicide rates are very high in some countries. So the issues are different. But there is something that we need to change. No? It's not only in the way of politics or something like that, but it's like in like a big change, no? Like in the way we are acting as a society as well.
Well,
Yeah.
in a minute, when we come back, we're going to be speaking with Patrick about his his business with this clean energy and the no cable thing, like, you know, and wireless technology. And we're going to be speaking about that in a minute. But first of all, I want to remember our Click On listeners to participate on our social networks, and remember to use the hashtag Click On Technology. And you can ask all the questions you want for Patrick, and also answer these questions like, what do you think about technological advance, and what is the most surprising technological advance for you, and tell us why. And right now, we're going to listen to music and click on music for the second time. So Nicholas, what is the second song for the day?
Okay, let's click on music for the second time. Computer Age by Neil Young. Let's click on music. Yeah?
We're back, and that was Computer Age by Neil Young. And we were listening to that song. It's because Nicola thought it was a technological song. But what do you think, Patrick, about that song? Do you like it?
Well, it's actually kind of nicer than the German one. No, the German one is like, you know, kind of for us Germans, many of the German sounds very kind of tough. You know, the other one was nice, so I like the other one better.
Okay. And what about you, Nicholas?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like technological or something like that. Yes, like in the future.
Like traveling in time?
That was like 80s, maybe? 80s?
Yeah.
Song?
I think there could be 80. So I just like, you know, I have heard it before.
Nice song, Luis. Good selection for today.
Okay, well, remember, Click On listeners, to participate using the hashtag Click On Technology. And as always, you can be a part of this show because this show is for you. So, Patrick, before the music break, I was telling you that the idea was to start speaking a little bit about your business, your company, and I want you to tell us, like, how did you start your energy project, and how has it developed here in Colombia?
Well, it's basically like we are in developing this technology kind of more than 10 years now. And it's basically like a Bluetooth, which we all know, to connect our mobiles, whatever, on steroids. So basically kind of all this wireless communication connections for things we have right now, basically Bluetooth and three other technologies. They work for all the things that we could use to create ecosystems, to save more energy in our houses. But if you want to upscale this to a larger, to bigger level, like to put a network for the machine communication, or sensor communication into one city or an airport, you need a technology like we have developed, like IP500. For example, you could think, which happens in Europe right now and in some other cities in the world right now, for example, connect all the street lighting of Bogota with this network, and also kind of with the same network and measure the traffic flow, and over this traffic flow in relation of the connectivity with the street lighting and the street lights, you could basically save up to 70% of energy, and also kind of make the system much more fluid, kind of just like fluent for the traffic. So kind of the same thing, you could help to save energy and make help the city having less traffic jams. But you need a technology like our technology, which is there to wirelessly connect sensors and actors and all kind of control things, which control energy use, for example.
So basically, you connect all the devices that are part of the process. And
So basically going back to the movie scene, it's just like, but that's the bad.
Yeah, give us an example with a movie.
Yeah, it's basically kind of, if you know the Terminator movies, we have Skynet. So this is basically, yeah.
So are you creating the next Terminator as well?
The fiction is is becoming real, the fiction.
No, this is actually kind of when you kind of, when you go into tech meetings, or if you see what's really happening, it's like we're so much closer to this world that we actually kind of realize. It's like basically kind of, for example, robots are kind of starting to become part of our life. It's just like, for example, now we start to speak about the most fascinating thing I've seen is cobots. For example, individually kind of interacting robots that help together, for example, but this doesn't have to be something bad. But of course, that I come to that a little later. But a cobot, for example, are things like an individual prosthesis of one leg is a robot, you know, because it has many cybernetics functions. But if you need that for two legs, you have two individual robots, and of course they need to communicate. How do they do that? They do that wirelessly. You know, and it's fascinating. You know, these things where you can, you know, have these little kind of things where you have two wheels, and in some of the airports, and you can basically kind of run them by leaning forward, and the things, you know, kind of rolls forward. You also can do that with two independent legs. So I've seen you kind of things where one person did have, you know, kind of one cybernetical legs, and you basically kind of like leaning forward, and the legs start to walk, you know, kind of just like forward. And if there's, you know, a stair, automatically kind of it goes up a stair. Or things, if you have seen kind of like robots doing kind of flip flops and things like that. So we are actually kind of really close to that. Yeah, and coming back to that, we have basically kind of the technology to exactly kind of facilitate things like that. And of course, that comes with also a really kind of big responsibility that you have to see that things don't go wrong, because this is, you know, kind of the discussion is starting now. It's a big discussion as well. Of course, things can go wrong. If you ask scientists who are in artificial intelligence, they think it will go wrong. And so we have to kind of start doing everything what we can possibly do now, that we still have some possibility to at some point pull the plug, you know, because it really will be important at some point, you know, kind of, and you know that, just like how many times you need to switch off your notebook or something just to get it restarted. And of course, with machines becoming more complicated, it doesn't, you know, kind of, well, it would be impossible to think everything kind of will run smoothly. So kind of we need to have that as well.
Was it the last? I remember when the Terminator died. No, they had like an extra battery, and maybe you save that energy because you are doing a lot of the connections. Probably in the future, also the devices will save some energy. No, that's maybe the targets, like to save energy, to maximize the use of these devices.
Yeah, the idea is really kind of, you can create many kind of circular systems to basically kind of save energy and save costs, and, you know, kind of make things way more efficient. You know, it's just like anything is just like starting, you know, but really just with the example of the city lighting, you can imagine how far this can go. For example, that you don't need a city completely kind of lit up all the time. So with the traffic kind of flowing, you can kind of run, you know, kind of do the lighting waves, and you also can do kind of just like night things, for example. And it's like in some factories where people have to work 24/7, you know, in 3 different shifts. And now you have technologies with intelligent communicating LED lighting that basically kind of projects a regular kind of daytime, even though in the night shifts. It starts, for example, you start your shift at like midnight, let's say like that, kind of with something like bluish, and then it becomes more white, and then becomes more orange in the morning, or, you know, so to basically kind of just like project the normal day. And if you look at the numbers behind that, you have 20 or 25% people less at home, because they feel, you know, kind of healthier, because basically they can go home, can go to sleep, because their body thinks it's a normal day and things like that. So it's really amazing.
Well, I was checking your web page where you speak about the 5E element, like a fifth element. And there is a part where you said that we can incorporate this project and this technology in the democratic process of country.
But there you're mixing things. This is another project of mine which is not related to our business right now. This is just like
Patrick has many projects. I remember. This is only one. Goodness. This is only one. But the other one is this one. No, what is the name?
It's basically it's a model. Yeah, the quinto element. It's a red to basically suggests or kind of promotes a new network parallel or within the internet that runs on a particular kind of way that we can basically kind of use that to restructure our society. So this is exactly kind of what we talked before. It's basically looking for new kind of possibilities. How can we structure modern democracy or modern life without involving in government in every little decision? For example, kind of it's important to have kind of large-scale decisions like in governments who basically regulate things. But finally, kind of if I would ask every single person if they would be happy to let's say consume a little more plastic to have kind of their children whatever kind of living safely, I think kind of we as an individual would like to make these decisions, even though knowing that this would mean we would have to use less plastic, for example, but kind of to get a government exactly to do that, and then to cut down, kind of exactly talking corruption and talking things, and to cut down some companies kind of just like financing because they have a contract of 20 years where I guaranteed that. It's way more difficult. So if you actually kind of have a base or would have a base where you could involve people more in direct decisions and also would have a system that at the same time basically could function as a monetary system, we would have a new base for a new form of democracy. But this is actually kind of very complex and it's interesting, yeah.
It's incredible, but
no, that's very intricate, right? Like very complex.
That's real democracy, because here in Colombia, only like 30% of the people vote, when we choose a president. So, but imagine involve all the people in this or in any decision, and then we can make the policy after using maybe the software or something like that.
Exactly. This is the point, kind of just like, you have many different aspects, but one of the most important from my point of view, and this is not only a Colombian problem, it's like we vote every 2 years, every 4 years. And we vote some people who basically kind of do make some big promises. But even if they wanted to kind of stick on to the promises, things are changing nowadays so fast that, kind of 3 years after I did vote, things are completely different. So I have to have shorter periods to basically make decisions. And I think nowadays people are more interested to be involved in, let's say, kind of decisions that are in relation of Bogota as well. And I could use this a network like this to also do kind of decisions in my neighborhood. I could use a net like that to do kind of decisions in my building complex, in my family, in all people who are interested in go to surfing, in all things, kind of. And so we could, I don't know if the Swiss.
My company, for companies as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was reading that a good or important aspect of this project is to collect information and understand how to use the information. But how is that process, and what can we do with that information?
No, it's not to collect. It's basically kind of another aspect is like, kind of in the internet, how it is right now. The internet has many pages that are very old or are not updated, or the information is, especially kind of right now, talking once more politics, are fake news, and we cannot prove. And so a network which would run on these bases also would have the possibility to immediately kind of show only information that is correct, because there we would involve a filter of, let's say, always minimum 5 different people who would approve, okay, the video that I see is correct. Who would approve, okay, the website that I see has the correct direction, or the information I give, like in Wikipedia, for example, is controlled. Yeah. So you have many possibilities to create a new network, which could be used as a real base of information that is validated. And because nowadays, kind of, I go in a search, and out of the 10 pages that I look, just like 5 are minimum outdated, 2 are, try to rob something. Another one is basically kind of leading me to some kind of sexual kind of whatever. And the 9th might be something what I'm looking for. And the other one is a commercial one. So basically, this is another idea to organize the
coming another ideas. Well, Patrick, you have a lot of ideas and a lot of projects, and that's incredible because, for example, Teacher Luis only have one project, one half project.
No, you see, my only project is to stay alive. It's a very important project. You see, to stay alive as much as I can. So that's my biggest project in this moment. No, but yeah, I mean, like it's like these, like maybe because it's also a part of what Patrick is, because like he has traveled so much, and he has like been on all these countries, maybe all that experiences that he has acquired, like come together to create all these projects, because he understands like how the world works as a global thing,
And,
like,
and now I understand more like the biological knowledge, like there. No, that's the perfect example in the last project, for example. Like
yeah, no, this is exactly the point. Just like to basically kind of making kind of the kind of trying to look at the big picture. And we were working on embryonic development of basically kind of how the embryo develops from the one cell stage to an embryo. And of course, within this, you do have many changes of this of all these cells that are developing. And it's amazing if you look at our planet right now at this moment. The first time in the last 10 years, we have developed a structured network which basically connects, still not all human, but connects nearly all humans. And this is just like the beginning. So basically kind of we need something else apart from Googles and Amazons, who basically do the same thing like let's say the conquistadores. They only want something from us. Yeah. So we need to create a forum to use this fantastic network that we have created to work in favor of the humanity. And this is basically what we are trying to kind of focus on in the last project of the new network. It will not be that one, but if we want to survive, this is exactly the experience from what I have seen. We need to find a way to behave us differently in relation of what is happening in the world. Just like basically as a closing statement, possibly, is like another thing that I really appreciated here in Colombia or in Latin America is like if you talk to many of the indigenous people, like kind of the Kuna in Panama, or here kind of some people that just like are related to the Muisca or others. They try to live with the planet, and in modern societies we try to kind of gain from the planet. And this is something with the creation of this network, we have to relearn that we live with the planet. And this comes with all kind of like things. If we do that right, we can create ecosystems, and then, kind of just like with our company as well, that save energy, that make things more circular, that help us as single human to basically live a better life in this moment and to structure everything better for tomorrow.
Well, as we thought at the beginning, as we planned, this was going to be a really interesting conversation because, like, as I said before,
Yeah, we are like here, like paying attention.
and
As
as Nicolas been
So
saying, like
cool.
there's like so many projects and very interesting, like the way he combines like his knowledge in biology with it's like the biology of technology, like how it's like the bio of technology. And I just want to say, like, thank you, Patrick, for being with us today. That this has been an amazing ride, and it has been an amazing interview. So much information, so much to learn and process. But thank you, really cool energy, and thank you for accepting our invitation, Patrick.
Thank you for having me. It was just like very interesting because I love it to speak about these topics. And anytime would come once more.
we skip one project, no, which is the restaurant. But well, maybe the next show we can talk about the restaurant project.
Oh, better. You come all to Peace and Love Restaurant, and then we speak there.
we can make the show there, no? Like eating, and we can do a radio show next time there in the restaurant.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you so much. One more time.
And thank you, Clic on listeners. See you next time. See you next Wednesday for another excellent show. Thank you, Nicolas, and bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.
Clic on Air, a journey through the world of languages. Come and travel with us. Listen to us every Wednesday through www.radioamigainternational.com.
Radio Amiga, musical culture, 11 years on air.